It's back in Juventus's court. They have the game tomorrow, the big one in Rome against Lazio. How big a task is this, do you think, for Juventus tomorrow?
I think it's tough because, as we've seen in recent games, obviously they're coming off the defeat last weekend against Sassuolo. The draw, which felt like a defeat because it was at home in some ways against Sassuolo. But it's important to note, Juventus are still the only undefeated team in all competitions in the Big Five. And I think that's an important number, or an important stat that we often forget about. I think the concern is Juventus haven't played well in a while, and they've relied on individuals, whether Dybala, whether Higuain, people popping up at the right time. Weirdly, they actually probably played better against Sassuolo than they had in some of the previous games. I think they need, at some point, a quality team performance. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo's been in the spotlight. I think this would be a good game for him to regain his mojo in, especially because, of course, they've already secured first place in the Champions League and wouldn't be surprised if Sarri gives everybody a rest in midweek.
Well, that's Saturday fixed then.
Yes.
12:30 Manchester Derby, a few games before then, the big one.
It all leads into
Lazio versus Juventus. We know Juventus have got the biggest squad gap in the division, and maybe that's part of Sarri's problem, trying to find the balance. But one of the things I'm interested in, we've talked on this show about Antonio Conte, how he's moaned about the squad and that. What is the chances of Inter spending some money in January and maybe one or two areas that he wants to improve? And do you think they need to do that to go all the way through to May to challenge?
I think there's no question that Conte will ask for more players. I think that's patently obvious. By the same token, though, I think he's often moaned because the players were out or players were injured. But the reality is, and I know there's that word you don't like, but financial fair play. Inter are pretty much stressed. They were hoping to get money back for Icardi, Nainggolan, and Perisic in the summer. They may yet get money back next year, but for the time being, that money didn't come in. So they have to be very, very mindful of that. I think what they're going to be hoping for is say, look, by the time January rolls around, Barella and Sensi will be back. There'll be like new signings, as people say, and maybe they can get somebody in on loan, maybe an extra body. I think they also want to really assess Alexis Sanchez, because I think that's been another factor we haven't really talked about. Lautaro and Lukaku have played virtually all the time, but you need another striker in there to give them a rest or to challenge them, or if they have a loss of form. So I think Conte will probably be pushing for that, and maybe a midfielder as well. I don't think at this time, unless they manage to sell somebody, I don't think they're going to get both. But then again, who knows? Maybe they can go and sell Gabi Gall, since he scored, 150 goals in at Flamengo. Maybe he gets crowned world champion, and all of a sudden he gets a 60 million offer from China, and boom, Bob's your uncle.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.